Hello everyone, I wanted to do a quick unboxing and review of this Hyper Bicycles e-mountain bike. It is a 26-inch. They call it a mountain bike, but let's be honest, it's not a mountain bike. It's sold by Walmart and it is pretty heavy. It's about 50 pounds and it is what you would expect from a Walmart e-bike. The warning here says don't ride it at night, don't ride it when it's wet, always wear a helmet, don't jump. So I would say, yeah, I wouldn't jump this mountain bike for sure. Here, it comes pretty well packed. It survives shipment very well. Everything's well padded, zip ties all together. So no complaints about the way that it's packed. It's packed just as well as any other bike I've seen. Comes with actually metal pedals, which is surprising and good was a welcome surprise. And then basically you have to put on the pedals, put on the handlebars, and put on the front wheel. And that's pretty much all there is to the assembly. It's pretty straightforward and not much to it. This was a little funny because the pedals are listed right and left, but they both say, warning, this pedal goes to the chainring side. Well, that's obviously not true. The right side goes to the chainring side, and the left side does not go to the chainring side. And this is after it put together. This is the chainring. It has this chainring plastic guard, which looks a little chintzy. I just took that off. And then the pedals went on pretty easily. This is where the battery goes in. It's well integrated into the frame. The headset looks pretty nice actually, and there is this little reflector thing that I decided not to put on. And these are cantilever brakes. They're okay. They're not great. There's a lot of give in the cable, and they do their job though. The front forks honestly are terrible, and the wheels are fine. Saddle has a funny name, Snafu. It's not the most comfortable saddle, but of course saddle comfort is personal preference. It's passable. And then the rear cantilever brakes, there's a lot of give in the cable, so that has some is a little more smushy. The derailleurs actually work pretty well, shifts pretty well, and there's no problems. And this is a 36 volt 250 watt battery motor, which doesn't seem like a lot, but does easily push me up a 5% grade, and I'm about 160 pounds. So it's good enough. This one part is one of the major flaws I saw. This part of the rear cantilever brake, it comes off very easily, and so when you're trying to take it off of its supports, it tends to fall off. I epoxied it back on there and had to smooth it out, and didn't quite fit well, so I had to kind of bend it and jerry rig it to fit the supports well. All right, so what are my thoughts on this? After riding it for a few weeks, I think for 400 bucks as an e-bike, you're not going to do too much better. You have to go in understanding that it is basically a big box store bicycle. It's got very low-end parts. Surprisingly, it shifts pretty well. It's ridiculously heavy, but it is a fun e-bike. The pedal assist works pretty well. There's a slight lag, and it gives you power very slowly, which is good. It's controllable, so it won't jump off the line and scare anyone. Honestly, I think they would have done a lot better if they made the front fork a non-suspension fork and just gave it a regular steel fork, and that would have made it lighter and feel a little more stiff. And overall, I think if you're looking for a beginner electric bike to use around town, this is a fine bike for that. If you think you're going to take it on a trail and go off-road, that is not this bike. It will not survive the trails. And in terms of its range, I would say that the 20-mile range is probably accurate. I live in a pretty hilly area, and I've taken it about 12 miles, and it still had some power left. The voltage sag in the battery is pretty significant, so when you're going up the hill, it'll look like it's sagging, and then after you finish the hill, the voltage sag will disappear. So I think 20-mile range is realistic. Of course, it varies a lot depending on your terrain, wind, how much you weigh, that kind of stuff. But 20 miles is probably a realistic range. After riding it a few months, I did find out that the bottom bracket was quite loose, so I had to adjust the bottom bracket, and I'll have a separate video on that. But overall, I think if you understand the use case scenario for this bike, it's fine. And for its price, I don't think you're going to find a better electric bike. And it serves its purpose of getting my daughter and my wife to come on short little bike rides around town with me, so I'm keeping it.